Welcome back. The next presentation will be in English, as is the presenter. So welcome on the stage, Magle Chemoswed and CEO Justin Pierce. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Al. Thank you for the opportunity. So a little bit about Magle Chemoswed, about us today. I mean, we're a contract development and manufacturing company, or as we like to call ourselves, a CDMO. This is a company that over the last 5 to 6 years has grown to be a very exciting, agile, integrated and dynamic company. We've invested very heavily on the integration side, so we run right across the supply chain in relation to the services that we provide, which is something fairly unique for a company of our size. And on the twist on the CDMO, we also develop our own products and our own technology, and we have a very versatile technology platform that we continue to drive, and we use this to drive new products and new innovations into the market as well. So not only are we generating revenues and incomes from the services that we provide, but we're also extending our pipeline into new products that are generating long-term sustainable value into the company. The company itself is just over 80 people. It says 75 people on the slide, but we recently closed the acquisition of Pharmacept. So this has added some more people into the business. And over the last 5 to 7 years, we've run over 15 successful projects, invested over 90 million Swedish kronor into the business, been involved in 4 major patent families, and brought 2 new drug substances with customers into the market. So we've had a pretty good and a very strong period over the last 5 years. And this really looks at the history of the company. We've extended from 1944 is where our experience started in contract development manufacturing, all the way up until 1995, where Magle was created as a research and development company. And this is where we get our technology platform from. So the technology platform originated within the Magle organization. And it wasn't until 2016 when Magle acquired Chemoswed that we started seeing that there was a real synergy to fit together a research and development company with a very strong and experienced manufacturing company in order for us to drive further integration of the development projects that we had going on. In 2017, to make space for these 2 companies to come together, we made a number of divestments. And then in late 2017, we joined Magle and Chemoswed together, a contract manufacturer with a development company. And what we've ended up with now in 2017 was Magle Chemoswed as we hold it today. So here we are really focusing on developing our own products. We're focusing on driving new products into the market. We do this as an integrated company by doing our own development, our own manufacturing, our own supply, and now with the acquisition of Pharmacept, our own sales into the public sector as well. So the company has been driven largely through strategic acquisition and internal organic growth. In 2019, we acquired a company called Adroit Science. This is a specialist analytic company to really help us further develop our own formulations and to offer services to third-party customers as well. And 2020, we decided to join NASDAQ. So we went onto the First North Growth Market. And this was right in the middle and the start of COVID, so it was an exciting event. Nonetheless, it's been a successful event in our view so far. And then 2021, earlier this year, we announced that we were purchasing a company in Germany, doing direct sales and marketing in Pharmacept, and we closed that deal just last week, actually, on the 1st of June. So the company has grown fairly significantly over the period, and has really focused on drawing all of this experience together to make a really dynamic company. In terms of leadership, we have Hans-Henrik Lidgard at the chairman of the board. Hans-Henrik is a founder of Magle and has been very vested into development and development projects. And the rest of the board are widely experienced across the sector. So from Malin Mansur as a medical doctor and professor, all the way through to Mats Pedersen and Joel Eklund, who have various investment experience as well as bio and pharmaceutical experience. And then you have myself as the CEO, Fredrik Andersson joined as the COO, and late last year we added Petra Sulin to the executive team as well as the CFO. In terms of where the company is going over the next period of time, we have our strategy, which is named Value Creation 2024, and here we have 5 strategic goals that we're looking at. The first of those is to generate and create a marketing and sales organization, which we started with Pharmacept. This is to really drive our own products and our own pipeline into the market and to generate revenues through that. The second is to generate more profit from our CDMO services. So this is about good selection of projects, about driving the integration and really making sure that we are increasing our profitability and efficiencies from that side of the business. We have put additional focus on our pipeline, our R&D pipeline for our technology platform. This is an area that we see that the company can grow fairly significantly in the future. The quicker we can develop our own products, we can develop those into the marketing organization that we're busy creating now as well. And then we have HR excellence. We are constantly on a talent recruitment and talent scouting. We're investing very heavily in our people. The people are the business. The expertise that we have there are the most valuable asset that we currently have. So we're investing quite heavily to grow that as well. And then our fifth strategic goal is very much efficiency, and some of the financial goals are in there as well, with a target of a 20% EBITDA. So we have a very aggressive financial target in relation to the next period of time ending in 2024. So these are our strategic goals coming up. Our business model is a fairly diverse business model. So we have revenues generated through our own technology platform and products that we're generating, and then we generate revenues and profits through the CDMO services that we're providing. So technology royalties, we have a strong royalty agreement with Becton Dickinson, which runs for a long period of time. And there we have quarterly royalties, which are being generated cash into the business. Number two, we are generating more and more technology products. And this we're driving again through the sales organization to create more revenues there. And then on the CDMO side, we have our own drug substances that we manufacture and supply to numerous customers around the world. We're doing contract production and manufacturing, process development, and other analytic and chemistry services that we provide as a traditional CDMO. So looking at the business, we run very far across the value chain. We do everything to get a product from innovation to idea. The only two segments that we are not currently active in is very early discovery on drug substances and conducting clinical trials for our customers. So we don't do either of those. But apart from that, everything marked in red is something that we provide a service for. The joy of being able to provide those services is those services are also, we can take them internally and apply them against our own products and our own development in the future. So we're working currently with a number of small molecule drugs. So some of our successful collaborations have been with companies such as Oncopeptides in Sweden and more recently with Alexion Pharmaceuticals in the US. These are both small molecule drugs that we help with. We've developed our expertise into protein chemistry. So more recently we started generating process development and clinical supply material around vaccines. And helping people to develop those sort of new biopharmaceutical and biodrugs. We've been working a lot with drug delivery and inhalation services on the formulation side. We've been specializing quite a lot on inhalation, and we have two of the leading experts in Sweden within the company, within our solid-state chemistry group, who understand this type of inhalation formulation better than anyone else. So we've seen quite a large uptake for that as well from the service segment. So everything we do with professionalism, with agility, with robustness, with integrity, and we really do try and employ a right first time ethos throughout the business. What we do with our own technology platform, as I said already, is we develop our own products. We're driving that pipeline, we're driving that platform currently in order to generate future revenues that are long-term and sustainable into the business. And we will now move away from a business model where we have previously used distributors to distribute our products, and now we will start taking these in-house with the help of Pharmacept and start distributing directly into the market. So with that, we spent a lot of emphasis on our technology pipeline and really looking at the segments where we feel we can be very active. We have 4 segments that we currently concentrate on from a development perspective. The advanced wound care segment, we had Smart Gel has already been approved. We're seeing big uptake into Latin America with that. We just started the registrations now in Russia with clinical trials ongoing there as well. So this is one area that we see that there is strong demand on the technology side for, and we have more coming out in the pipeline We have a second product there, Smart Gel 2, which will follow the one that was recently approved. On the surgical and diagnostic side, this is sort of our sweet spot. We have the Smart Pan, which is a bioindicator developed in conjunction with Heidelberg University Hospital that was approved. As a CE mark, this is already starting to go into the more advanced stages just before market, and we expect to launch that into Heidelberg University as a test bed before rolling it out across the rest of Europe. And we have a number of other products coming out underneath that product as well, based on the good results that we've seen from that. Then on the drug and biological delivery, we have two very early stage projects running there, both using the technology platform, one to do systemic delivery of very high toxic drugs for patients in the oncology sector, and the other is to marry up the starch microsphere technology that we have with some of the new protein and gene therapies that are starting to emerge. So we're using them both as a carrier to deliver, as well as a carrier to have sustained delivery and be able to have that biologic effect in the body. And then the last part of our pipeline focus is embolization. This is very much what Pharmacept do, and we already have a product on the market, Embocept S, with this. And we have two future products, Embocept M and L, both of which are at fairly advanced stages now. Embocept M is for prostate embolization, and Embocept L is for uterine fibroid. And both these products are low-hanging fruit to us to inject into Pharmacept, as this is their main expertise in Europe. So the successes so far, the company has a long track record of success, going back to 2006, where we launched Arista. Arista is a surgical hemostat, and this is where we generate our license revenues from, to 2007, where we introduced isradipine, which is a drug substance, mantidine sulfate, another drug substance, in 2011, to Nicochet, which was one of the first white snooze powders on the market, as a drug that was out-licensed in 2015, to Benzrozide, which is another generic drug that we introduced and had approved in 2017, to the launch of Embocept S in 2019, and the approvals then of Smart Gel and Smart Pan in 2021. So this is a company that's not only generating revenue, it's a company that's not only advancing a pipeline, but it's also a company that has a history of success in developing and taking to market numerous products, both in the drug and the device sector, which I think makes us a fairly unique animal in given the size of the company that we currently are. So for us, the future looks bright. I tap on wood. And we have a good pipeline that I think will continue to generate new successes. And Pharmacept, having just joined us, we now have direct access to the market, which is something that we've really been looking to do. So as a strategic acquisition, I think this is an exciting one for us. So that's a little bit about us, and thank you for listening. Phil?
Thank you very much, Justin. I just want to pick up where you left off there with Pharmacept, which you recently bought. Could you elaborate a little bit on the motivation for that acquisition and how that will affect? I guess in the end it will affect your gross margins. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Absolutely. I mean, first I'll turn the questions around. First of all, Pharmacept as a company is a profit-generating company, and that was one of the motivations to purchase it, which is that it's generating enough cash to sustain itself, and it is having a surplus there that allows us to bring that back into development. So on that side, we see Pharmacept as a valuable, positive contribution in terms of the motivation. The strategic motivation for doing that was largely due to what we call in the business the one-third and two-third rule, which is we found that we were taking two-thirds of the expense and two-thirds of the risk in developing new product, and our distributors were taking one-third of that risk, but they were getting two-thirds of the revenue and the profit, and we were getting one-third back. So it seemed like an inequality. So strategically, we decided that the products that we have are quite niche products. A company like Pharmacept is something that we can put product into, and rather than losing that two-third on the profitability while taking the two-third on the risk side, we could actually have the cake and eat it. So this was the strategic motivation.
And I should be added, this is already your distributor for Embocept S.
Yes.
So you're just adding more product through the same distributor, which you now own.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking also about the pandemic. You've been quite affected by the pandemic.
Sure.
In your CDMO side, you saw a diminished demand for a period. Are you seeing any improvements now after the vaccinations and reopenings?
Things are starting to come back. We're seeing orders are definitely stabilizing for us. We're also seeing a number of new markets that we haven't been in previously are starting to open up, and those inquiries are starting to come to us. We're also seeing that a number of our competitors who've dropped out of some of the generic spaces, that some of our customers are starting to pick up those spaces as well. So it'll take a little bit of time, I think, to come back to normal, but the signs are definitely positive in terms of what we're seeing coming in now.
I noticed one thing in your presentation. You said that you have a target for 2024 of having a quarter of your revenues from product from your own technology product platform.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one before. Before you had a target of having 5 proprietary products on the market by the end of 2022. How is the consistency between those two goals? Are they consistent, or are one replacing the other? Or?
No, the two goals are consistent. I think we're just able now to put a percentage value onto that, largely because we see Pharmacept as a vehicle to go through, and we can now really get the right selling price and the right product price onto that. If we were still going to have a distribution model, what you negotiate with the distributor could be far less. So what we could get in terms of revenue for the product would be less than what we'll be seeing now from Pharmacept. So then it was quite difficult to put it into a percentage basis.
But the 5 proprietary products that you have either on the market or in the pipeline now, the Embocept MSL and Smart Pan, Smart Gel, is that sufficient to come to that quarter of revenue, you think? Or do you have more up your sleeve?
We always have more up our sleeve. There's no doubt about that. And I'm pretty confident that what we currently have on the table is sufficient to get us to our goals.
Okay. And back to the CDMO side, do you think that after the pandemic there is a backlog of products that's waiting to come online to knock on your doors?
Yeah, we're currently experiencing a very high demand for new projects. So we have a lot of customers trying to push into the CDMO side. And it is about, for us strategically making sure that we take the right projects on that we can see have got the robustness to run through all the phases of a drug. So we're already starting to see that this demand has picked up. So I think people are starting to return to normal, and companies are starting to get their development projects back on track.
Another question, specifically on your proprietary products, Smart Pan, Smart Gel, which are now approved, heading for the market. When do you expect to see the first revenues there?
We hope to see the revenues this year. Certainly for Smart Pan, I think we've had a lot of discussions with a number of authorities on reimbursement, because Smart Pan is a first-in-class product, so it's quite difficult to position it. But all things considered, we expect that to be in Heidelberg probably towards the middle of Q3, beginning of Q4. And Smart Gel, we already have the first preliminary orders for Latin America. But that's just waiting for a final approval from those authorities there. So late this year, early next year.
All right. Well, is one market easier to penetrate than the other? I'm thinking Smart Pan must be a much more concentrated market.
Smart Pan is easier to attack from a marketing perspective, purely because you have less surgeries in that sector. So the target audience is smaller. Smart Gel on the wound care, the advanced wound care side, is far more competitive, and it's a much broader market. So yes, Smart Pan is easier. But that being said, we want to make sure that we do it right and we have the right reimbursements moving forward. So we're taking a little bit of time in the beginning to make sure we get it right, rather than find that we've undervalued the product or underpriced the product in the market. So Smart Pan is definitely easier. The uptake from everyone that we've spoken to from an authority perspective has been incredibly positive. And we've had a number of clinics asking us for advance orders of the product. But we will stick with our current strategy of putting it through Heidelberg first.
Lovely. You certainly have a very exciting pipeline, and we'll be watching with excitement.
Yeah,
Thank you very
me
much,
too.
Justin.
Thank you. Thanks, Al.
The next company up is Klaria Pharma, and we will have CEO Jesper Wiklund on in about 5 minutes.